Rick, you grew up in Westland and graduated from John Glenn in 1982. What did you do right after graduation?
Right after graduation, I attended the University of Michigan Dearborn, majoring in communications.
And how did you get involved with Rook?
I got involved with Rook. They needed a sound engineer. I was real good friends with the lead singer of the band, and he had told me that they needed a sound engineer, so I went out to one of the gigs and I kind of messed around with the soundboard and kind of learned a little bit. And then I started going to their practices and learning more about how the sound system worked and everything, because I didn't know a thing about it. And then I slowly became their sound engineer, and just all evolved from there.
And when they asked you to be their manager, what kind of thoughts went through your head?
It was kind of a slow process thing, so it wasn't really like I said, wow, you know, I'm going to become a band's manager or anything like that, you know. And I didn't like put a cigarette in my mouth and throw the sunglasses on and say, you know, okay, cool, I'm a manager now. As the band got more popular, I just slowly took over things like booking them and talking to booking agents and doing a lot of promotional things for the band. And just slowly, step by step, worked my way up to taking the band over completely, where all they have to do is worry about performing, and I handle everything backstage.
Was it difficult at such a young age to be able to make the image adjustment that you had to make, being kind of a responsible spokesperson for the band?
Yeah, it's difficult at times. I know I look a lot younger than I am. I'm going to be 24, so I don't feel like that's that young to be in this business. It's kind of a young person's business. But it was difficult dealing with people face to face, because they kind of look at you like a kid, and I try and run it as business-like as possible, and that can be kind of hard if you know they're seeing you, you know, or belittling you as being real young. So yeah, it was kind of difficult, but I overcame it, I guess. I don't know. I'm still learning.
What kinds of things is a manager responsible for?
It would be hard to list everything. Mostly, of course, booking the band, handling everything backstage, handling all the crews, the lighting crew, the sound crew, roadies, everything like that. Dealing with the booking agents, which is a whole different ball game. These are the people who go out to the clubs. They book the clubs, and they'll go into a club and say, "Hey, look, I have this band. Are you interested in them? Do you have any openings?" And then he calls me. We set it up, correlate the schedule to our calendars, drop a contract, and I handle all the contract negotiating, everything like that. All the promoting, advertising of the band, all money matters. All finances go through me. And of course, letting the band and crew know where they have to be at what time.
Is that why it's beneficial for a band to hire an outside manager rather than one of the people in the band becoming the manager?
Sure, I think so.
Is it real common?
Well, I don't know if it's real common. I think it helps a lot, because they can worry about performing and only performing, whereas I can worry about all the everything else that goes on behind the performance, before the performance. I know a lot of bands manage themselves, which I find hard to believe. I don't know how they can do both, especially if they play a lot, you know, out in the clubs. But I know the band is a lot happier knowing that I'm going to take care of whatever kind of problems they have or anything like that, so they can just worry about putting on a good show, you know, giving 100% on stage, and not have to worry about anything that's going on out in the club or with the booking agent or the advertising, promoting, or money matters or contracts.
What is the difference between an agent and a manager?
Okay, Well, an agent is a person who works for an agency. The certain agent might have like 10 clubs that he books on a not exclusively, you know, a lot of agencies will book the same club, but say there's a certain agent, he books certain clubs, and some might be rock clubs, some top 40 country, whatever it may be. He will interact with the bar owner and show him the promotional material on the band, and try and get them interested in booking the band. And then that's where I come in. He will contact me and ask me, you know, are you interested in playing this club? This is what they have to offer. This is, you know, the amount of money. This is the way the club's set up, you know. And then I make the decision whether we should, you know, do the gig. They set up a contract. I sign the contract. Usually the bar owner signs the contract. The agent signs the contract. So everything's legal.
Is it as important for a band to have an agency as it is to have a manager?
Sure. Sure. The agencies have been working with these clubs, you know, maybe for years. So for a band to go in by themselves or for a manager, it's a little tougher to go into a club and book yourselves into it than an agency who has a good rapport, you know, with the club already. So it's kind of, they're already established with the club, so it makes it easier for us to go into the club. But we have booked ourselves on occasion.
What kind of costs are involved in promoting a band, and how are the bills paid for?
Okay, in the case of Rook, all the money that we make goes back into the band. Costs involved, of course, are promoting your own band, all the advertisements, everything like that, flyers, whatever it may be. Everything from maintenance and gasoline on your trucks, maintaining your equipment, keeping your equipment up to standards, as far as PA and lighting, microphones, and paying the crews, making sure they're paid well, they're happy, everything like that. You know, so there's all kinds of costs involved, and if you get into videotaping or photographing a performance, you know, that's involved. Printer costs, all that comes out of our pockets, so it is expensive.
How expensive was it to produce the recent 45 that just was put out?
Very expensive. I couldn't say how much we have totally into it. There was photographers, printers, artists, producers, and the record pressing people all involved in the project. So to put out a 45, we put out a real high quality 45. I would say we have in the neighborhood of around $8,000 into the whole project, give or take a couple thousand. It's really hard to say.
What kind of connections do you need to record successfully?
Well, I think the connections, our personal connections came about kind of in a strange way. It was just, we heard about the producer from a third party and contacted him.
You mentioned that's Al Hirschman.
Right. We were produced by Al Hirschman. He's worked with many national bands, namely like Ted Nugent from the area, Grand Funk Railroad, Nazareth, the Rockets, and a lot of other national bands. He's done some co-engineering, co-producing on. He's a super guy. He really turned the band around, really brought them up to the standard that they're at today. He really gave me a lot of insight into managing because he had a good 20 years experience in the business. He gave me a lot of contacts. He helped me out tremendously because I didn't go to school to become a manager. I had to learn, and I made a lot of mistakes. I know I still will, but we just went step by step, and we're kind of kind of taking it, one day at a time, and hopefully we're going to get to the top. It's going to be a long, long process, but we're on the right track, I think. And between me and Al, we've done a good job bringing the band to where they are.
What kind of work goes into a recording? What kind of things do you have to do before you even enter the recording studio?
Well, first the song has to be pretty well put together. There has to be lyrics, and everything's got to be pretty well down. A lot of pre-production goes into recording. A lot of hours of, you set down a rhythm track and then set down the guitar leads and set down the drums and drum fills and then set down the vocals, and you can be in a studio for 15 hours just, beating your brains out just to get one guitar lick right or something like that. So it's a long, drawn out process, and it is a lot of work.
How do you get a song played on the air once you've recorded it?
It's not easy, especially in Detroit. They don't back the local bands as much as I'm sure all the local bands wish, which I can understand why. But to get our stuff played, we've been played on like a local show, that's dedicated just to local bands.
Which is on?
Which was on WRAF not too long ago, about a month ago. They played both sides of the 45, which we got a real good response from, and so did they. We're kind of going about it in a different way. We're trying to hit college radio, which will play independent material a lot more than the commercial radio. So we're trying to go that way and hit the college market a lot. Because college kids are more into the newer things, not the standard commercial radio. So, and also the high school radio and things like that. We're trying to market it that way. So when the playlists are out and the commercial radio stations can monitor the college playlists and notice that they're playing this Rook single over and over, then they'll think to themselves, well, hey, maybe we should be playing this.
Supposing Rook gets big and signed by a major label, what happens to you as their manager?
Probably I would be the first one fired by the by the record company. I've learned like through Al Hirschman, our producer. He's talked to me, and we've talked it over about they will come in and pretty much take the band over the way they want. This is if they want to just go full out and give them like a long-term, 3-album contract or something like that. They would definitely say, okay, this is now your management company. You will now produce here and engineer here. So, Al and I both know that there is a chance that we'll be the first ones dumped if they do make it to the top. I know the band will find something for me. I'm not really too worried about that. I'll be involved in the band one way or another. But then again, the record company might just give us a label and let us market it ourselves the first time, which I would, of course, play a big part in that. So it all depends on how they would want to work it. But yeah, there's definitely a good possibility that they would fire me first.
Do you have other bands lined up if that happens?
No, I've worked with a lot of other bands, which is real hard because Rook is my baby, so to speak, and I've put all my eggs in one basket with them pretty much because when I did work with other bands, I found myself kind of neglecting them a little or still pushing Rook a little bit above them. I do work with bands to do a warm-up act or things like that. We work with a lot of the same bands, so I'm on a real good basis with them. Not full-out management or anything like that, but I do help them out, and if there is gigs that we can't do because of the calendar or whatever, I will contact them and offer to them or let them know that this club's looking for a band or something like that. But as far as having another band lined up, no. I'm always out looking at other bands and you know, seeing their show and seeing what they have to offer. And I think once Rook makes it, I think I'll be getting the phone calls from bands, you know. So I'm not really too worried about going out and finding one. I think they'll come to me when the time comes.
Is that in a way related to any of your long-term goals?
Sure. My long-term goal definitely is to manage the #1 band in the country or the world, and then continue on successfully from there. Of course, whether it be with working for a record company, a management company, or just exclusive management with the band.
Well, I want to wish you the best in reaching your goals, and I really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thanks.
Thank you.